Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Coturnix Corners morning musings. Hope you all are doing well today. Um, I'm sure a lot of you noticed that I haven't been around for the last couple weeks. Um, Picked up a cold or something for my wife, and it just would not let go. It lasted about 10 days. Still got a bit of a cough, but I'm dealing with it. So I hope everybody else is doing well. Hope nobody else is sick. It's enough to drive you nuts with all this weather that we've had lately. Um, Pretty sure most of you know that the South got pretty much bombarded with snow. I think some of the cities up in northern Florida had more snow than it was a record snowfall, like 10 plus inches or something. It was ridiculous. But thank God it didn't happen down here. But we did have some cold weather probably for the past week. It's been I don't know, down in the low 40s, upper 30s, which for us is really cold. Um, my bees weren't even that active until like late afternoon. When it warmed up over 50, then they'd come out. But let's see. Shout out to our sponsors real quick here. Go for Ridge Quail, HP Murray. Really appreciate all that he does for the channel. He donates hatching eggs every week to give away to you guys. So it's much appreciated. And Hatching Time, they donate a $50 gift certificate that we give away for you guys to use on their website. So appreciate it, guys. Let's see what else we got going on. I tell you one thing about being sick. I spent a lot of time in bed, but I mean, I slept quite a bit, but I also had a lot of time to go over stuff that I want to work on and this and that because I kind of had my laptop in bed with me and I was just going over all kinds of stuff. Um, I've got to get out there and work the quail. I got to get supplemental lighting out there for them guys so I can start getting some eggs. And I also, it was so cold the other day when I went out to give them water. I got one of them plastic 1 gallon water jugs and I filled it up. And when I went to turn it over, I grabbed the handle and the whole top part of the water broke off. So I ended up putting a bunch of my little 1 quart waters that I use for my chicks. I ended up putting a whole bunch of them out there just so the birds would have water until I could set up the automatic watering system. So that's another thing I've got to work on. What else? My bees. I was really worried about the bees because it was getting so cold, and I didn't know. I mean, I know bees up north can handle pretty cold weathers if they got a good population, but um, I was really concerned with mine because I went out there the morning after it got like 38 degrees, and I seen probably a half a dozen dead bees laying on the landing boards and out underneath the hives. And I'm like, oh, they're freezing to death or whatever. I think what they were doing is it was raining uh, off and on for the past, I don't know, 4 days or so. And they would go out, they'd get wet and then cold and, probably just barely made it back to the hive to die. But they did good. I mean, the hive survived everything. So I'm good there. But I was thinking of stuff that I want to do. We're just coming into bee season right now. And so I'm getting my swarm traps set up, getting them ready to hang so I can catch some new swarms this year. I got probably about 3 hives out there that need to be split. I can't believe the population of them already. And then I ordered a bunch of new equipment. I think I'm going to do a little expanding this year. Um, it's not really a lot. I think I ordered a half a dozen deep 10 frame deeps, some grafting equipment. I want to try grafting this year. So that kind of stuff. So I think that's about it that's going on for me, other than this cough just won't let go. I mean, I haven't felt too awful bad, but like I say, this cough, I get to talking and the cough just gets worse and worse and worse. Or if I go outside and do anything, um, yeah, it just gets worse. I think we've got, okay, it's January 26th. So next week, we're going to be announcing the winner for February for the Coturnix Kids program. So let me bring up the sponsor list real quick for that. These sponsors here donate every month a bunch of prizes that we give to the kids to get set up. Wholesome Harvest supplies us with some feed for the kids. Southern Biophiliac and Big Spring Quail donate hatching eggs to give away. Jennifer over at Bryant's Roost supplies the kids with an incubator to get them started. Pips and Chicks and Carrie over at Champions Blend. They do the $25 Tractor Supply gift certificate. And then, of course, Hatching Time donates a 2-unit layer cage setup for the kids to get them started. So that's much appreciated. And like I say, we've got the next winner is going to be announced probably, let's see, today's the 26th, probably on next Sunday's live stream, unless I do a Tuesday evening live stream. I am looking for sponsors that want to come on the, not sponsors, I'm sorry, guests that would like to come on the Tuesday evening live stream. Talk about whatever, talk about your setup, your quail, plans for the year, whatever you want. I'd like to get that Tuesday evening thing rolling again. A lot of people can't watch the morning musings, so Tuesday would be nice. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the chat room, see who all's in the house today. Woodtick 1970 says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us. Twisty Garrett's Farm says, hope you're feeling better. With exception of this cough, I'm actually feeling pretty good. I mean, I don't have, for days, my head was throbbing and that whole sick head thing going on. But no, I'm starting to get better. Andy Rabbit's in the house says, good morning. Morning, Andy. Glad you could join us. Dragon Girl says, good morning. Glad you could join us. Hannah Bishop's in the house says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us, Hannah. Darren says, good morning. Morning, Darren. Don Skins in the house says, hello from South Mississippi. Glad to be getting warmer weather. Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. I know you guys got quite the blast. Same over in Louisiana. Aaron from Gator's Family Farm was talking about the snow and stuff that they got. And no, it's unbelievably unbelievable. So thank God it doesn't happen all the time. All Clean Exterior says, good morning. I hope you got your tumbler. I think you sent me a message, said you did get it. So good deal there. Kurt's in the house says, good morning. Good morning, Kurt. Hope you got your incubator all set up and ready to go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. That's another thing, guys. I'm working on the DIY incubators. I made a few changes to the box that I am currently testing right now. It should help out with stabilizing temperatures. I'm gonna do a short video on that here in the near future, just to kind of introduce it. But I'm calling it 2.0. So it's not that the other ones weren't working. It's just that I just made a few minor changes. Let's see. Heavenly Half Acres says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us. Carrie Blackman's in the house. Says, good morning. Glad you could join us, Carrie. Rebecca Anderson says, good morning from Australia. Glad you could join us, Rebecca. Guys, I forgot to mention, we are going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to give away a 30 count of hatching eggs from HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail. If you guys would like to be in the drawing consideration for the eggs, comment Gopher Ridge over in the chat room. Or if you want a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate, comment HT or Hatching Time, and we will select from those for the winner or for the giveaways. Get Ross Family Farms in the house. Good morning, Quailers. Morning, Aaron. Glad you could join us. John says, good morning, Terry, from Katy, Texas. We had from 2 to 4 inches of snow here. I'm glad it's gone. Yeah, there's a lot of people over in the Southeast that's glad this stuff's melting or gone or melting. I know a lot of people, well, they shut down part parts of the highway up in northern Florida. Uh, and I believe in other states too, like over in Louisiana. I think Aaron mentioned that they closed down the interstate out there, basically because they have no way of keeping it clean. See, Corgolian says, wish we had gotten that much snow in Austin. Why would you wish for more snow? Good morning. Glad you could join us. Paula Davis is in the house from the UK. Says hi, all from UK. Glad you could join us. Heavenly Half Acre says, I'm here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, I'm surviving. I mean, it would, it really, I mean, to me, it was just a common cold, but it was one of those stupid colds that just wouldn't go away. And it made you feel miserable enough to where you didn't want to really go out and do anything. But yeah, as soon as this cough's gone, I'll be back to normal, which I don't know if that's saying much. Promised Land Homestead says, good morning from Missouri. Glad you could join us. Corgolian says, really been an interesting winter this season. Yeah, I've got family up in Michigan, and yeah, they've been saying the same thing. It's just been a crazy winter. But my sister, she and brother-in-law, they kind of enjoy the winter because my brother-in-law just bought a brand new truck, and he put his snowplow on that truck, and I'm sure he enjoys getting out there making a little bit of money with that. Paula Davis says, I've got a cough that won't go away. Yep, that's the way mine is. It's not. When it was bad was I had this phlegm in my chest, and it was like I just couldn't. There was one little piece down there that just wouldn't cough up, and I'm like, so I drank a lot of liquids, and finally I got it, and it went away. Now it's just an annoying cough, but. Let's see. GIS Herb says, good morning from a balmy 40-degree Birmingham, Alabama. It's been in the teens and singles lately. Yeah, that's pretty chilly for Alabama. Nice to see you back up into the upper double digits. I can't wait. We got a beautiful week coming up next week. It's supposed to be in the upper 70s, low 80s all next week, which to me is perfect weather. It's good for getting outside working. The bees get out. They're really active during that kind of weather, so I enjoy it. Ryan Allen's in the house. Says, good morning from Alabama. Sweet home, Alabama. Glad you could join us, Brian. Tony's in the house. Says, good morning from Toronto. Glad you could join us, Tony. I don't see you around much anymore. Glad you could check in. Dragon's Girl. Morning from Byron, Georgia. Byron, Georgia. That's a cool little thumbnail you got there, or profile icon, whatever you call it. And he says you need some fire cider, Terry. That'll kick it right out of you. Yeah, probably would. Dano says hi, all, or hi. Rebecca says, I have some eggs in the incubator. They're on day 4 of lockdown and none have pipped. Should I be concerned? No, if you're only, I mean, day 4 of lockdown, it's only one extra day. It depends a lot on when did you set the eggs? Did you set them early in the morning on the day that you're counting as day 1? Did you set them in the evening, which is actually going to extend your incubation another day? Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. If you're only on, what is that, day 18, I wouldn't worry too much about it. A lot of has to do too with incubator temperature. If your incubator is running a little bit cool, that might delay the hatch a day or so. So, yeah, just keep an eye on them, see how they do, Rebecca. Salvador's in the house. Good morning, Terry and everyone from Puerto Rico. Glad you could join us. Been a while, too, Salvador. Maury Straub's in the house. Good morning, everyone from West Michigan, Quail. Glad you could join us, Maury. You should be out plowing, making money to pay off that new truck you bought. Dano in the house. Glad you could join us, Dano. Dragon's Girl says, hope you feel better soon. I just got my 1 incubator fixed so I can get more quail eggs in it. Cool. Yeah, it's always nice. I've got eggs on the way right now, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting them in the incubator to hatch out some fresh stuff. Um, Mine is I got to get my birds out back laying. It's all I'm doing is feeding them. They're not doing anything for me. So Paula Davis says, got a storm here today with bad wind and rain. Well, that kind of sucks. Andy says, can't help but laugh at y'all warm weather people when you get a cold snap. Me that live in weeks long freeze zone don't think about something like going to get cold. Are the animals going to make it? Yep. That's what happens when I think I've been down here like 40, 41, 42 years now. And I mean, I'm from Michigan. I should be able to handle a cold. But I'll tell you, when it drops down below 50, I'm cold. Hannah says, I like honey whiskey for sore throats and coughs. I did go through probably no whiskey, but plenty of fresh honey. Um, my wife actually, she got the cold first. She got it like 3 days before me, and I think she's the one that gave it to me. But yeah, I do a lot of honey when I have a sore throat. And I drink lots of liquids and that kind of stuff. But Andy Rabbit says, I think more about the wind. Yep, up in that. You're in Missouri, right? Yeah, up in that neck of the woods. I guess it can get pretty cold. Gorgolian says, gonna finally modify some rabbit hutches this week for my quail. Good deal. Okay, I got a bunch of people commenting. Go for Ridge and hatching time. Gorgolian says, haha, I like the snow. I like snow too. I've been telling my sister I want to get up north and, you know, see the snow at least once this winter. But I mean, last week it was in the negatives, like -2 and stuff like that. I'm like, that's a little too cold. Dragons Girl says, we haven't had snow in like 10 years. We got 4 inches. Yeah, I think this last little Arctic blast kind of surprised a lot of people. Darren says, I had my first hatch of 14 birds out of 24, lost 3, but the rest look healthy. Made a couple rookie mistakes, but I'm happy. Another 24 in the incubator, see if I can do better. Well, good luck on the next hatch. Yeah, it stinks when you lose birds, but usually there's something minor behind it that you can do to improve your loss rates, I guess you would call it. I read on like Facebook all the time, people saying, I had 100 birds hatch and I lost, half a dozen or whatever, and they're happy with it. I mean, yeah, that's not bad, but I've done hundreds and hundreds of hatches, anywhere between 75 and 150 birds and not lost one. Or if I did, I'd lose maybe one. But yeah. But good luck on your next hatch. Hopefully that works out well for you. Get around Family Farm says, Terry, the dang cough won't leave for quite a while. Mine took 2 weeks. Ew, I don't need that. Let's see. I think I'm on like day 10 right now, 9 or 10 or 11. I don't know. But at least the stuff in the chest is gone. That's what I don't like, that stuff. Promised Land Homestead says, I'd like to see Allie come on the show again. I really enjoy when she comes on with all her genetics knowledge. Also, a really good detailed video on good quail structure and what not to breed for. I would love to get Allie back on the show. She's got a lot of stuff going on right now that she's dealing with. And hopefully, knock on wood, as soon as she works through this, we can get her back on the show. I'm surprised for all that she's got going on. She's still pretty active over on Facebook, which kind of surprised me. But she's also a moderator on the Coturnix Corner Facebook. So, and I see her in there quite often. So let's see. But we will get Allie back on here, I promise you. Kim says, good morning. We're going to get up into the 20s today in Iowa. Oh, nice. Stay warm, Kim. Ben Garcia is in the house. So salute everyone. Glad you could join us. Been a while. Shoe Family Quail Farm says, hello, everyone. My homozygous sparkly project officially started. I got 2 eggs from the round hens yesterday. Cool. Congratulations. Um, that's actually something that I'll be hatching out. I've got eggs coming next week, early next week. And one of those are the sparkly pharaohs, which I really like them. They're beautiful animals. Bam Garcia says, "Who did the cartoon for Morning Musings thumbnail?" I don't know. I mean, I put it together. I just went online and I found like the picture of the goofy guy and the quail and stuff, and I took it into Photoshop and kind of made a goofy looking um, thumbnail or whatever you want to call it. And it's not supposed to be me on there, by the way. I'm not that fat. Let's see. 340 Quail Farm says, good morning, everyone. Central Florida checking in. Glad you could join us. Central Florida. Hopefully it's going to warm up there for you. And he says, I'm 37 degrees right now. Yep, Missouri. I thought that's what you told me. I thought you were from Texas for some reason. Kim's talking to Andy. Aaron says, we had 10.1 inches of snow in South Louisiana. Yep. That is ridiculous. Van Garcia says, first the drones, then the fog, now the heavy snow. Don't you love our weather? I mean, it's crazy. And he says, the thing I hate about freezing weather is I can't use the auto watering system for a few weeks at a time. Yeah, that does stink. I mean, I feel for the guys up north that, you know, uh, always down and below freezing and having to worry about their water freezing. And I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. Big Tree Farm says it's a balmy 35 in New Hampshire today. That's not bad. I mean, 35 for New Hampshire this time of year, I guess. Van Garcia says when you start getting a sore throat, immediately start doing hot sauce gargles. Kills the bug. I was doing gargling with salt water. That seemed to get rid of the sore throat. And that's the thing that I hate most about being sick, the sore throat. I can handle the coughing. I can handle the, just the overall feeling of terrible. But when my throat is so sore and raw that I can't swallow, that drives me nuts. Tony says, would like to know what control module to buy for egg turners. If you already have the egg turners, you can buy the motors. It's just a timed motor. I've seen them on Amazon. They have them. If you're talking about putting something together for yourself, as far as a turner goes, I think it's going to end up being more problems than it's worth. You can buy a decent turner. Tractor Supply sells the what brand is that? Oh boy, right off the top of my head too. Egg turners, and it's $50, and I think it holds like 120 quail eggs. Boy, I wish I could think of the brand name on it. Little Giant. And yeah, so I don't know. I mean, to me, just buying a $50 egg turner is a lot cheaper than trying to put something together, that you're going to try to build yourself. I had thought about that, of building a DIY egg turner for the DIY incubators. And I just came to the conclusion that it's cheap enough to just buy an egg turner. Even if you want to spend an extra $20 for the quail rails, it's still not that bad. So, but I mean, as far as the control module, I mean, I really don't know of the control module other than the motor with the timer in it. Bartek says, hi from Stockholm. Cool. I'm wondering if there's any breeders that has hatching eggs from clean pharaohs available. I already asked Rebecca from Leaving Out her Farm, but she doesn't export. Here in the States, I to this day I have not yet seen a true clean ferrule. I'm not saying that people don't have them. I worked for over a year on trying to clean up the ferrule line, and when I thought I had them, um, it just kept breeding, and just out of the blue, sex link brown pops out again. I know you can breed, you can get, yeah, they don't look like they're carrying sex link brown, um, but it pops up. I think it's one of those things that's going to be really hard to get rid of. I would think being out of the U.S. would be a lot easier for you to find a clean feral bloodline than from anyone in the U.S. I'm not saying that people here don't have them. It's just that, from my experience, that sex link brown pops up. It's like just one of them genes that's almost impossible to get rid of, and to be able to identify, to look. I mean, to find a clean feral hen isn't really that difficult. Getting a rooster that does not have carrying sex link brown, that's the difficult part. But anyhow, I know Rebecca says she was working on a line, and I think I kind of upset her when I commented on a post that she had. Uh, and all I said was I'd like to see a clean feral, just because of the fact I haven't seen them. And I haven't known anybody in the U.S. that is supplying them. So I don't know. As a matter of fact, I would like to get my hands on what some people are calling clean ferals and see if they're actually clean. You just start a breeding program and see what happens. Does anyone in Europe have them? There's no particular reason why I want them. I just find them very pretty. Um, I don't know. As far as in Europe, I know. No, I don't even want to say that because I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there's really no reason to worry about having a clean ferrule unless you're going to be using that as a base for, working on other color varieties, because that way you've got a clean base that is not going to influence other color mutations that you might be working on. Um, a lot of people love the sex link brown. It makes for some really nice looking, like rosettas and scarlets. Um, but to me, yeah, I mean, for a while there, I was concerned with genetics and whatnot, but I'm kind of getting away from that, mainly because they're all Coturnix. They all taste the same. They all lay the same eggs, um, and I'm really not into the whole show quality. I guess you would call it quail, and I know you see it in the chicken world all the time too. But I guess that's enough rambling on about that. 340 Quail Farms says, question: how effective was your box fan filter built against dust and dander? I'm considering making one for my garage. Very well. Um, I had two of them with the single filters on them. One on the far end of the room, basically the beginning of all my cages, and then on the far end of the room, I had another one, and they were both kind of blowing in the same direction across the cages. And I would have clean filters, probably about every 2 to 3 days. I would have to pull the filter out and either swap it out or blow it out. Usually I just blow it out. But if you build the three-way filter, it's got four filters on it. It's basically a cube. No, it's got, yeah, four filters, and then the fan sits on top. That one works really well, and you obviously you don't have to clean it as often because you got more uh, filter space to filter out the dust and dander. But um, when before I got rid of all my quail inside, I had two of them running in the shop, and it seemed to help quite a bit. But and I don't know if it was just because of having quail in there for several years, that just a lot of dust and dander built up. I found dander behind the drywall. That's how bad it was in there. So yeah, but anyhow, yes. Does the filter work? Yeah, they work really good. April says, good morning from Iowa. Glad you could join us, April. Andy says, I had that crud last week. Still some phlegm in my chest. Oh, that's what I hate. My fire cider has 2 more weeks before it's done, but I think I might start drinking it now. I hear you, Andy. My Shepherd Crew says 32 degrees in Georgia. Boy, weird when it's freezing in Georgia. Paula Davis says, how are your quail doing with this weather? Mine are outside in the aviary and they're loving it. I mean, I think they prefer the weather we're having now, which is, you know, low 40s at night to 60s, 70s during the day. I think they enjoy it a lot more than they do when it's 95 and, rainy season. And he says, my dad's in Texas, so you're half right because I'm there too a lot. Talk about Texas a lot. Yep, you do. That's why I thought you were from Texas. Darren says, definitely want to improve hatches. Don't like seeing any lost life. I'm trying to learn as much as I can to prevent what I can. Building a cage similar to your style, wood frame, 2 foot by 3 foot by 1 foot. Cool. Yeah, I mean, you'll get to where you're not going to have losses. Sometimes losses are inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. But I mean, I have very seldom have any losses from hatching. If I did, have chicks that were lost, they were either chicks that hatched out way early or late, and that's why I usually do when I'm incubating, I give them till the bulk of the eggs hatch, and then 24 hours after that. If you don't hatch within that 24-hour period after the bulk hatch, they're done. I mean, I throw away a lot of eggs that didn't hatch. Not a lot of eggs, but I do throw away eggs. I don't worry about the numbers that are hatching. I want all my birds hatching around the same time, kind of like a nice bulk hatch. Hannah Bishop's in the house says it's a warm 6 degrees so far today, a lot better than the negatives we're having. Yeah, I can imagine. My sister's been saying the same thing up in Michigan, how cold it is. And he said, I've spent many winters in Texas, and to be honest, I would rather stay in Missouri. Texas 60 is colder than Missouri 20 some days. Hear you 100%. If it drops down below 50 here, I'm cold, which is crazy. People from up north laugh at me. 50 degrees, they're outside in shorts and t-shirts. Bang Girl says, all my water systems froze, was having to take buckets of water out to the quail, rabbits, chickens, and others. Yep, that's one thing I don't miss about Michigan. We used to have quite a few rabbits, and that was one of my jobs. Get up early in the morning, go out there, dump the ice out of the crocks and refill it with fresh water. And it seemed like you had to do that all the time because you always had ice. Paula Davis says, got northern bobwhite quail in the incubator. Tomorrow hatching day, hopefully. Cool. Big Tree Farm says, I have to fill the water bases 4 times a day when it's below freezing. Yeah. A lot of people had some good ideas. If you don't have a ton of quail, using stuff like one guy was talking about, he uses a crock pot to keep the water thawed out. My brother-in-law was telling me about this little doodad you can stick in the bottom of the water and plug it in. It keeps the water warm, or keeps the water thawed. Shoe Family Farm says, while I'm aware that the sparkly gene has been around a while, I just thought it would be cool to start with one bird to a whole covey of sparkies on my own. Yeah, cool. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Big Tree Farm says, you may PM me about clean farrow. Okay. Andy Rabbit says, agree with Terry. I would love to see a true clean farrow in the USA in person too. Like I say, I'm not saying that they're not here. I just have not physically seen one myself. I've seen photos of what people are trying to, I won't say trying to, photos of what people are saying are clean farrows. And one, I don't trust photos, but two, I still see the sex-linked brown. And I guess because when I was trying to clean up a farrow line, I bred literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eggs, hatched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eggs, and grew these chicks up, and just trying to find clean farrows out of them. it wasn't happening. So let's see. Carrie Blackman says meat and eggs, baby. Yep, exactly. That's what I mean. That's why I got into quail. And I'm not saying, that there's anything wrong with genetics and all the main color, all the different colors, because there's cool. There's a lot of really neat colors of quail, but I'm leaning more back towards just the meat and the eggs, and I don't really care what color the birds are that they're coming from. I'd rather have a production line that's going to feed me and my wife and the dogs because they love quail eggs. Katie says, hello from Ohio, Terry. Really enjoyed your videos. We built 2 hutches thanks to your video. Cool. Question. I want to fill a 5-gallon bucket for water to automate a little more. It gets cold here where I live. Yeah, Katie, reach out to Maury over at Gulf Coast Quail. He's talking about something that you can stick inside the bucket. You plug it in, and it keeps the water thawed out. The only thing that I was thinking, the water in your lines, depending on how long your water lines are, yeah, the water in the bucket's warm, but if it's not circulating, you would think that what's in the lines would freeze or down by the cups. There is matter of fact, there's a live stream here on the channel. I had a lady come on. I can't even remember who it was. She's talking about a circulated, heated water system. See if you can find that. Just go there and do a search on the channel for heated water system or circulated water system, and watch that video. She has some really good ideas. I want to say she had a 55-gallon drum that she uses to hold her water in. But yeah, check that out. My Shepherd Crew says, do you have a YouTube video on the box fan filter? I do. Look on the channel and look up box fan filter. Just do a search. It shows how to build both models, the single, which is real simple, and then the box one. Katie says, do you have any tips on how I can insulate them to prevent this? Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about insulating your water container, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things you could do. If you're using a 5-gallon bucket, you could wrap it with what do they call that stuff? That insulation material. Can't think of it right off the top of my head. But like I say, I don't know how much that would help, because it seems to me that the lines coming out of the bucket going down to all your individual cages, if they're getting that cold, you're going to still have an issue with water freezing in the lines or down at the nipples, whatever you're using, the cups or nipples. Like I say, reach out to Maury over at Gulf Coast, or not Gulf Coast Quail, West Michigan Quail. West Michigan Quail. He's up there in Michigan dealing with that, and he said he hasn't had any problems, as far as water freezing. He does have a heated shed, those inside, but he also has a couple aviaries outdoors. So find out what he's doing there. All right. Andy says, yes, he has a video on the fan filter. Yep, it's on the channel. Don says, I'm curious to see the revisions you're considering for the DIY incubator. Yeah, Don, it's not really anything serious. I mean, I think it's going to help a little bit, and it's going to be what it's doing is circulating the air a little more uniformly up and down, top and bottom. So yeah, I'll show it to you. And I'm actually going to try to work up a mod for the people that have the original incubators, that if they want to add that to their incubator, they can. But like I say, the original model works just fine. I mean, it's a proven design that's worked really well. Everyone that I've talked to that's built their boxes, once they got it tweaked and dialed in, they work amazingly well. Promised Land Homestead says right there with you, Terry. Quail is quail. My wife is definitely about genetics. I just like them. I do too. I mean, I like the genetics. I love the colors, but I don't like, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I don't like the competition between the colors. It's like it's like everybody's. No, I shouldn't have said competition. Um, it's like how do you identify a bird that's got 4 or 5 different color mutations on them, or and I see people do it. I mean, Katie Galley, her and Tamara Roselle over in Australia. You can send them a picture of a bird, a couple different pictures, and they can pull it right out. Some of the people over in the Quail genetics group can do that. But to me, unless that's really something that you're into, it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's not worth the hassle to worry about and argue with people. I've seen some really nice arguments pop up about, color varieties and this and that. And to me, it's just not worth it. Muddy Acres Homestead says, good morning. Just setting up for quail. Cool. Good luck with your quail. Muddy Acres Home says, I moved from New York to Iowa. Smart move. Dreu Poultry Water. I just got a text. Hold on. Okay, let me see if I can bring this up and show you guys. I would imagine. Don't know if you guys can see that. Where are we at here? It looks like you set like a 5-gallon bucket on top of that heater, and that would keep your water warm. That's on Amazon. It's awful pricey though. Oh no, it's not. I was reading the wrong one. It's $40. So yeah, it's called let me get back to the text, the Dreu Poultry Waterer Drinker. I don't know. Do a search for it on Amazon and see what you think. See, PT Jeff says, I had a chick hatch and her head is held bent and twisted. It's like trying to look under its wing. Yeah, call that bird. It's got an issue. Jeff says, is that genetic or just a deformity? It could be either. It could be a, what do they call it? See, that's one bad thing about getting sick. You can't remember anything anymore after you're done. Come on, somebody help me out here. Boy, I feel lost. It could be a deformity. It could also be genetic. It could be a Terry Blackman. You're in the house. Tell me what that is. I keep wanting to say crooked neck, but that's not it. It's oh, come on. Got too much on my mind, guys. Can't think straight. I cannot believe it's somebody at Rhineck. My God, thank you. Who was that? Corvellian Rhineck. Thank you very much, everybody. Why couldn't I think of one simple little word? It's hell getting old. But yeah, it could be Rhineck, which could be, caused by a lack of certain vitamins and minerals. When I get birds like that, I don't try to cure anything. I just call them. There's no sense in taking the chance of it being, something genetic. Where are we at? I lost my, okay, there we go. Muddy Acres says, where's a good source for jumbo meat bird hatching eggs? HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail. HP's got really nice jumbo lines in several different colors. So Andy Rabbit says the pictures of tomorrow's clean ferals are just gorgeous. I want to see one in person. Exactly. And that back when I first started thinking about putting together, I won't say putting together, breeding for a clean line of ferals. That's what I was going from. I was working with Tamara and with Katie Galley on trying to clean up a line. I was sending them pictures like you wouldn't believe. I probably annoyed them both. But Yeah, she has some gorgeous clean pharaohs. They're just amazing. They t- Tamara was telling me that their clean pharaoh line has something to do with the wild pharaohs that they have over in Australia, and she did not know that we could even get that here. So she was kind of setting me up for setting me up for not getting disappointed, because what I was bringing, she was almost saying to me too, yeah, it looks like you know sex link brown is in everything. So, but anyhow, enough on that clean stuff. I know I'm going to piss some people off because yeah, uh, I don't want to say that there's not a clean feral line in the U.S. I just haven't seen it personally. Carrie Blackman says aquarium heaters. Yep, that's an idea. I still wonder how. I mean, when it gets really cold, if it's not being circulated, if the water's not moving, you would think the water's going down in the lines and ending up at the cups would still freeze. But maybe I'm wrong. I've never had that problem though. Amois currency. Looking at getting some thieving out of rock cost. I'm getting quail again after not having them for a while. There you go. She's got some really nice pansies over there, so check them out. Also check out Leah Koulis at Southern Biophiliac. She's out of Tampa, Florida. Um, she's got some really nice red pansies. Check them out. Van Garcia says, does anyone raise original Coturnix japonica? Does it have a different coat pattern, feather pattern? I mean, basically the originals would be just your pharaohs, right? Um, yeah, so I think what you're thinking of is just the base color pattern, which would be just pharaohs, just the wild type color. Maury says, okay, Maury says he just sent to my phone what I just showed you guys is what he's using. Van Garcia says it's 52 right now here in the California desert, soon to be 62. Gary Blackman says no drama. I hear you, Gary. Just, I mean, I'm not, dissing anyone that's into genetics. I got very interested in genetics thanks to Allie and Klaus, and I know the bare minimum about genetics as far as I can identify a lot of colors. Um, but anyhow, yeah. Okay. John says heat tape keeps my PVC that comes off the bucket from freezing, and I use the red watering cups as well, which also don't freeze. But I have mine in the shed, which is a little warmer than the outside air. Yeah, I think there's a whole bunch of different ways that people are, you know, tackling that problem as far as keeping their water from freezing. And like I say, a lot of it depends on where you're at. Are your waters outside exposed to the direct elements, like say inside of a building, I think would help quite a bit as far as like wind chill and stuff, keeping it off your water source or your water containers. Oh, let's see. My Shepherd Crew says I hatched out some thieving otter farm rock cost 6 weeks ago, and they're beautiful, sweet temperament, big, and some of the girls have already started laying. Nice. I wish I could say that my birds are laying. They're just out there mooching food from me and not giving me nothing back. Savage Daughter Farm says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us. Ben Garcia says, why isn't anyone interested in the original Coturnix japonica? Aren't they still found in the wild in Asia? I believe they are. As a matter of fact, one of the guys that he was on my channel here, Juan from over in Cuba, he said that they have a wild population of Coturnix over there. But as far as I know, I mean, as far as I'm guessing, they're just basically the Pharaoh line, the Pharaohs. It's a wild type coloration. So, let's see. Andy Rabbit says when a dog has 4 or 5 other breeds in it, it's called a mutt or a Heinz 57. Yeah, kinda. I could go on all day about that. And I mean, I love the work that people are putting into creating, new colors and stuff. Um, but to me, I've watched it over the past 6, 7 years. It's going kind of the direction of chickens. I mean, I guess if you're into that, showbirds and stuff like that, that's fine. But when you're breeding, all these different colored birds and putting this in with that and that in with this, and now you've got a bird that you got to make up some new name for. I don't know. I just, I guess I just want to make it easier on myself. I want to be able to just keep the basics, the base colors, and supply myself with meat and eggs. Woodtick says, I got your DIY mini. I'm having a hard time finding the 60-watt bulbs. Ran a test 3 days ago with a 40-watt appliance bulb. Seemed to work. Any unforeseen issues? The problem with the 40-watt bulbs, you got the mini, so that's a single bulb. The problem with that is it's going to be cycling a lot more. It's going to be turning on and off, on and off, on and off, trying to keep the temperature up. I've been pointing people to Amazon. They've got a 50-watt ceramic reptile heating bulb. It's just the black little ceramic heaters. Those work well. I've actually tested those, and they work good. The only thing is when you first fire up the incubator and you put using that bulb, it does take a little bit longer for that bulb to get it up to temperature. But once it's up to temperature and everything, the incubator's up to temperature, they work just fine. So, yeah, rye. A whole bunch of people are saying rye neck. And Terry can't remember the word rye. Andrew Abbott says my talk to text spelled it wrong. Here's how it spelled it. Rye neck. That's cool. Dragon Girl says, I have seen the heat plates that sit the water on top of them, keep them from freezing, but I think it's risky to put plastic water tanks on them. The metal ones might do a lot better on them. Yeah, I don't know how hot the heat plates would get or do get, at least the one that Maury sent me a picture of. But yeah, knock on wood, luckily that's something we don't have to worry about down here. Talking to Ban Garcia, the original wild birds will be extremely flighty, likely killing themselves often by getting spooked. Most Coturnix breeders have worked hard to tame some of that fear response. Okay, there you go. Shoe Family Quail Farm says HP Murray has fantastic jumbos. I agree. I got some Egyptian eggs from him, and they're huge, and my birds are huge too. That's exactly what I have out in my aviary right now is some of HP's jumbo Egyptians and jumbo pharaohs. So I have to agree 100% on that. Carl says, hey, Terry, finally got the incubator finished thanks to your help, especially after a dozen phone calls to you. Thanks so much. Not a problem. You guys, if you buy the kit or you build the incubator, even if you build it on your own, you don't buy the kit. You just buy the foam and cut it out yourself. My phone number is on the Gulf Coast Quail website, and I have no problems, sitting down working with you to get it dialed in if you have any issues. So I want everybody to be successful. Andrew Rabbit says, I have a friend that's wanting jumbo pharaoh, and they said they're having a bit of a hard time. Jumbo Egyptians are everywhere now, but the pharaohs are a little bit hard to find. HP Murray's got a jumbo pharaoh line. He's also got a jumbo sparkly pharaoh line, and then he's got his jumbo white wings, which I don't really care for anything with white in it, but I really like the Rugine. It's just something that I always like to have it available, because if I do want to breed like some scarlets or whatever, I like to have that available. But yeah. Dano says, "What's the best quail water for a small hutch?" I use the 1 gallon water that you can get at Tractor Supply. It was pretty cheap, like $8, $8 or $9. Um, and that's what I was using out in the aviary until the cold weather made it so brittle it broke. Um, but it was old. I mean, it's probably 5, 6 years old. I used it with the chickens and whatnot. So uh, that's what I like for out there. I'm going to be putting a 5 gallon bucket water out there with some. Hey, Cookie, what you doing, Cookie? Little girl behind me. Um, I'm going to be putting a 5 gallon bucket out there with some watering cups. That way, I maybe go out there and water them a couple times a week instead of every day. Okay, let's see. My Shepherd Crew, Daniel. I really like the Rent-A-Coop 1 liter water for SL for small enclosures. There you go. Didn't mean to type the SL. Okay. Daniel says, awesome. Have to check it out. Geez, these typos. I hear you. All right, where are we at here? Andy Rabbit talking to Dano says a small bucket with tubing going to a cup or two so you can fill the bucket from outside the cage. Yeah, always a good thing. Big Tree Farm, Good Rise Family Farm has really nice sparrows too. I'm waiting on Aaron to send me some of his birds or some of his hatching eggs just so I can hatch them out and then brag about them. But he hasn't sent me any yet, so I'm just kidding, Aaron. Bartek says the non-decimated Japanese quails do not lay many eggs. They are migratory birds. There you go. Yeah, Darren says, I love this community. It's very informative. Thanks to all. Thank you to all, especially for you hosting them. Yeah, not a problem. That's what the channel's here for. Hannah says, I think my comments are disappearing. I haven't seen one from you recently, other than this one. Sometimes I notice when I'm typing, if I type and I hit enter, it does the same thing. It just won't pop up there. So I have to hit that little airplane thing next to the thing to get it to show up. Andy Rabbit says, Chris at Slightly Redneck has a good water system video. There you go. Yeah, I forgot about Chris. Well, it's been a while. I'm not real familiar with what his watering system looks like. I am working on a cage, though, that's going to be a slight modification of what Chris is doing. But yeah, there you go, guys. Check out Slightly Redneck. He's got a lot of good information on Coturnix over on his channel. Coturnix japonica is now considered a different than Pharaoh's. Huh. Yeah, I can't even answer that because I don't know. I mean, Pharaoh to me is the wild type, and the wild type is Coturnix japonica. So I don't know. Big Tree Farm says my customer base loves varied color groups, but correct structure for dual purpose birds, meat and eggs, and temperament comes first. We love it all. Yeah, like I say, I have no issues about people breeding all the. I mean, I love all the base colors. Like the EB, um, the Italians and Manchurians, or fawn, basically. Um, it's just that and I spent a lot of time and money, getting set up for breeding different color varieties and whatnot. And I don't. I guess I just burned myself out on it, um, and that's why I'm going back to the basics and what I originally got into raising quail for, which was for meat and what is that crazy dog doing over there? For meat and eggs. So. Hannah says, I posted twice on how I set up my winter watering system. I didn't, hold on. Let me go back real quick, Hannah. I did not see anything. No, I went back quite a ways. Um, If you want to post it again, I'll hang out long enough to get that, Hannah. Amois currency. I thought the normal wild type that we get Carol from is Coturnix. Well, there you go. See, I don't know. Now you're going to make me look it up. Hold on, guys. Blah, 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 blah. All right, guys. I typed in Coturnix japonica and it came up with your standard Japanese quail, which look just like the looks like our standard pharaohs. So I don't know. Like I say, I'm not okay. Savage Daughter Farm kind of answered that. Debs says, "What's the best cheap incubator for Chinese painted quail, California quail, etc.?" I would think that uh, any proven commercial incubator would work. I don't think you need a specialized incubator for Chinese painted quail or California quail. I don't like recommending the cheaper incubators anymore, just because. I mean, I know they work. I've tested several of them out, but I don't like recommending them because um, a lot of them. I won't say they fail, but a lot of them they're not consistent. And somebody buys one and they happen to get a bad hatch or something. And how come you recommended this? Like even I did a video on one. It was a cheap incubator somebody sent me from Amazon, and I did a review on it. And I said, yeah, it's decent incubator. I did I think 4 hatches out of it, and I had good hatches all the way through. But then the last hatch I did out of it was a dismal failure just because of incubator issues. So if I'm going to recommend an incubator, I'm going to recommend something that I know is proven, like GQF. Hatching time incubators are amazing. Baratos, I've had good luck with. The Brinzies, I've had good luck with. Um, I would definitely stick with a proven incubator. Let's see. Fig Tree Farm says, Hannah, your comment was likely too long. Okay, I didn't know that was a thing. Japonica is wild, where Coturnix are simply domesticated. There we go. Savage Daughter Farm. Coturnix japonica is wild, where Coturnix are simply domesticated. Genetically, the wild color is the same. It's just they have changed through domestication. Bigger birds with higher something, egg production and calmer demeanor. Thank you so much, Savage Daughter Farm. Sure. Family Quail Farm says the genetics rabbit hole is brutal. If you're into quail genetics, I fell in, sprained my wallet's ankle, right? I hear you. And it's funny because they're all the same quail. They just have, a few different pattern modifiers or, color modifiers on them. But, to each his own, people do what they're going to do. All right. Oops. Let's see. Carl says, I have a system that works outside at 20 below that does not freeze. I can put it together on paper and post it on Coturnix Corner for Jens. Appreciate it. If that's okay. Absolutely. It'll be hand drawn. Fine. No, go ahead and post it. Appreciate it. Teresa Wiggins is in the house. Says, morning. Good morning, Teresa. Glad you could join us. Andy Rabbit says, my 2 top picks I've used myself is Little Giant and GQF. I actually started out with a Little Giant. We used to breed a lot of, we used to hatch out a lot of bearded dragons. And I had 3 Little Giant styrofoam incubators that worked very well. And they weren't even the incubator with the forced air. It was just the had the little round wafer in there. And yeah, they work great for bearded dragons. But once I got into quail, I started, looking at other stuff. Teresa says, I've had success with my Little Giant with a fan. There you go. All right, guys, it is already after 10 o'clock. Wow, that went quick. Let's see. Hannah says, I use a bird bath water heater and an external pump works great to at least 0. There you go. Then I use a heat gun if they freeze. Only the quail nipples freeze, but the rabbits don't. Hey, nice. Good to know. Dragon Girl says, I know it's not the best, but I like to use the Nurture Right 360. I've been using 2 for about 3 years now. I also have Coturnix, used it so far for 4 years, just replaced the fan in it. Yeah, I've heard about the Coturnix. A lot of people on the Facebook group always, have good things to say about it. I myself have never used one, but yeah, the Nurture Right 360s. I mean, a lot of people, swear by them. To me, they're a little bit too. I'm not even going to go there. I just don't really care for them. Andy says, if I'm doing less than 120 eggs, I use the Little Giant still. Anything more is the GQF. There you go. And Katie says, yes, that would be awesome, Carl. Okay, I'm a beginner in Ohio. I need all the help I can get. Cool. I loathe my Nurture Right 360s. It's funny because when I first got into quail, like I said, I had the Little Giants styrofoam incubators, but people that I dealt with prior to getting into quail, I was looking, doing chickens and whatnot. They all used the Nurture Right 360s and told me that they were good. But once I got into quail, I guess I learned a little bit more about hatching and found out, that they're not really the best. So, all right. Carrie says, winners, email your name, address, and email address to Terry at CoturnixCorner.com. I am going to go up here real quick and pick some winners. Trying to get some people that we haven't had before. All right, my Shepherd crew, you're going to get some hatching eggs from HP Murray over at Gopher Ridge Quail. Make sure that you give me your name, my Shepherd crew, in the email so I know who you are. I've had people do that before. They'll send me their screen name, and then I have no idea who they are. So, all right, let's see who in here could use a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. Heavenly Half Acres. There's another one that needs to send me their name. Yeah, you're going to get a $50 Hatching Time gift certificate. That's Heavenly Half Acres. I hope you're still in the chat here. My Shepherd crew, eggs, Heavenly Half Acres, Hatching Time gift certificate. And like Carrie said, I need your name, address, email address, and a good phone number in case they need to get a hold of you. The phone number is basically for HP over at Gopher Ridge. See, talking to Hannah says I took too long to type a message out, copy and paste it, then I went through. Okay. Carol King said, Terry Bader peeps, just order it, LOL. Yeah, we're slowly starting to pick up again. Like usually during the winter, sales of the incubators drop off. People aren't really caring about it. But Terry, do you own a heater? I actually got a little space heater that we broke out a couple days ago because it got down to 38, and that's freezing for us. And so my wife broke out a couple small space heaters, and the one she gave me blew up. It started arcing and sparking, and I unplugged it and threw it in the garbage. But yeah. Let's see. Uri says, I just picked up 2 Little Giants and a Hovabator for $100. Can't beat that. Yesterday from Craigslist. I'm actually setting them up while watching. Cool. Yeah, make sure you run some tests on them. Let them run for a while. Put some thermometers in there, and just to make sure that they're holding a stable temperature. But yeah, congratulations, $100 for two little giants and a hoverbaiter. Can't beat that. Teresa says, I'm working on a design for my button quail cages. Check out the channel here. There's a lot of build videos for cages. You maybe might be able to modify one of them. I'm not talking to me. All right. Okay, guys, that brings us down to the bottom of the list, and it is after 10 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Really appreciate it. I love that we're live again. I apologize for the past couple of weeks. Like I say, I was sick, and you guys really didn't want to listen to me coughing and hacking and all that stuff. So, guys, keep an eye on either Facebook group page or CoturnixCorner.com, the community over there. I'll be posting about the Tuesday live stream. If we decide to go live Tuesday, that's where I will let you know. If I can find a guest, we'll go ahead and do that. So everyone have a great weekend and a great upcoming week. I think we got some warmer weather heading this way. So enjoy. And thanks again, guys. Have a great weekend.